Good evening. Welcome to the Yorktown Central School District Board of Ed meeting for August 26, 2013. Can I have a motion to go into executive session for the matters pertaining to the employment history of particular individuals and contractual negotiations?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
A motion to go back into public session?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening. Welcome to the Yorktown Central School District Board of Education meeting for August 26, 2013. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence for our armed forces, those in our community who have lost loved ones, remembering especially the mother of Patty Sauber, the father of Michelle Celestri, and former students Sam Gilbert, Eric Jamoka, and Megan Blackmore. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to start with our educational report given by Dr. O'Connor.
Good evening. The education report has three components this evening. The first is we wanted to give the board and the public an update on our current enrollment. And I'm going to ask Mr. Cole, who works on this daily, to walk us through our enrollment, our general enrollment.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. O'Connor. Last year, we ended the 2012-2013 school year with a total population in the Yorktown schools of 3,618 students. Right now, our actual enrollment for the 13-14 school year is 3,530, which is about 88 students less in total, something that just confirms the trend that we've been seeing for a series of prior years. The interesting thing about when we get into the details of the enrollment is what's happening at the Mohansick and Brookside schools. The Mohansick kindergarten this year was budgeted to receive about 110 students. Our actual enrollment to this point in time is 63 students. So we've been able to reduce a couple of sections at Mohansick because of the significant decline in the kindergarten enrollment there. Now, conversely, at Brookside, we've had a bump up of sections in a couple of levels. The kindergarten is up a section. Their enrollment is at 110 for this current year. Their grade 1 is at 129, and our budget for that section or grade level was 118. Their grade 2 is at 117, and their grade 3 is at 134. All in all, they're at 504 students where we budgeted 486. So we're up 2 sections at Brookside. So the 2 sections that we lost in Mohansick's kindergarten conceivably go to cover those. The total Mohansick enrollment this year is projected at 379, where we had budgeted 429 students. At Crampon, we had budgeted 486 students. Our actual was 484. In the middle school, we budgeted 896. Our actual was 893. At the high school, we budgeted 1,275, and our actual was 1,270. So overall, our projections are very accurate, but we did see this blip up in Brookside, which caused a bit of a scramble and a move of teachers and resources away from Mohansick towards Brookside. Any questions about enrollment in general?
We have enough room in all of our buildings. We're not, with the up in Brookside, we're still okay,
We're
correct?
still fine in terms of capacity, yes.
And actually in Crampon, because we were, for 1 year, we were very high, but they're down a section this year, correct, from last year?
Well, we have the same number, yes. In terms of the grade 4 and 5, we're down 1 section. They're from 20 to 19.
So they have their room, they've eased up on room, and it's not as crowded as it was a couple of years ago, correct?
That's correct.
right.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
The only thing that remains unaccounted for, and I just don't want to lose sight of, is the 26 additional housing units on 202 down at that Donald's area. Because at this juncture, we still don't know the number of students that could potentially move into those units. We know they're not senior units because they're three-bedroom apartments. So clearly they're meant for families. So when those families come in, that could have an impact on Mohansic enrollment.
Do we have any ideas of when, any kind of word from anybody on it?
We know they're marketing the units now. When they'll be occupied, we do not know. We did build some contingency into the budget for an occurrence there, and we hope that it would be enough. It just depends on what grade level the students are of the children that move in.
What are they marketing to? What's the
Marketing to
dynamics, the families of the municipal employees, just,
I think it's based on family income levels. So regardless of what they do for a living, I think it's all income.
okay. Any other questions?
The second part of the report is based on the New York State assessments. Just last week, we received the results of grades 4 through 8 ELA and mathematics, and some Regents results, and we'll be posting an informational letter for parents and the community members on our website. We'd actually like to share that with you this evening. A short time ago, the results of the New York State assessments were released by the State Education Department and have received wide media coverage. The results have confirmed the prediction by both state and federal education officials that the 2012-13 scores would be significantly lower than in previous years. This is clearly true for all schools in the Hudson Valley region and for the Yorktown Central Schools as well. The new assessments were based on the Common Core learning standards and a recently released kindergarten through grade 12 curriculum that are in the process of implementation in schools across New York State. Neither the Common Core standards nor the assessments were piloted as part of a sound educational practice to better inform the implementation. Although we always support the raising of standards and student outcomes, this particular educational shift has lacked the time, resources, and training needed in order for students to accurately demonstrate learning. The assessments measured content that has yet to be taught. New York State Education Commissioner John King has assured that these assessment results will not be used for district accountability and has advised that they be used with caution. Dr. King has stated that the Common Core will reflect students' progress towards college and career readiness and that the assessments are a more accurate tool to measure this progress. However, at this juncture, there is no research-based evidence to support these claims. We believe that there is no correlation between the 2012-13 assessment results and the ability of our students to be college and career ready. In fact, the graduates in the class of 2013 are a stellar example of our program's success in preparing students for the college experience. With acceptances to Yale, Columbia, Georgetown, Cornell, Duke, Johns Hopkins, NYU, RIT, MIT, Boston College, and so on, our students continue to give evidence of the fine education that they have received and will continue to receive in the Yorktown schools. At Yorktown, we pride ourselves on the education of the whole child. While academics remain our primary focus, we will continue to balance academics with our students' emotional, social, physical, aesthetic, and character growth and development. Our students will continue to understand the value of giving back to their community and making a difference in society. We will continue to remain steadfast in acknowledging and helping students who are experiencing personal challenges. Plain and simply put, we will not become test prep schools. There is much more to preparing children to be well-rounded, contributing, and committed citizens than just teaching them to take tests. We will remain committed to doing all that we can to making our students all that they can be and should be in their schools, at home, and in society. With insufficient preparation, funding, and time, we are not surprised at these results. In fact, we predicted that they would be lower than in past years. Our outstanding administrators, teachers, staff will continue to work hard to make a difference in the lives of our students. They will continue to prepare them to be successful students and successful human beings. We remain proud of our students and optimistic that they will continue to grow always and in all ways. We will continue to raise the bar, challenge our students in all areas of their development, and ensure that they are prepared for college and life. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? We appreciate, go ahead, Christine.
I don't know if you touched on this, Lawrence. I was just wondering, were we comparable to other districts, other neighboring districts in our area here?
We were. Yes, we were.
We were. And also, how is the data rolled out here? Is it done on school-based level? Is it during professional development, which is this week? How do we roll out the data to our staff members now that we've received
The
it?
minute we receive the student data, it's sent to the principals who work with their staff, and we use it at all of our committee meetings, our curriculum council, our staff development committee. You know, I guess in a nutshell, these scores this year are called benchmark scores. They're the beginning of the scoring of student understanding on a Common Core curriculum that really has been partially taught in our schools. So they're benchmark scores, and they really represent the percent of Common Core understanding that students have at a grade level. And that's what the commissioner has said. And again, it's not going to be related. The scores will not be used for accountability, but they will be used in teacher scores, which is something additional.
That's kind of tough on the teachers too, because our students aren't being graded on their levels of knowledge, but our teachers are being graded on teaching curriculum that they were never given to teach our students. That seems a little convoluted from the state, doesn't it?
You know, from the beginning, we said it's incongruent. Typically, you teach the curriculum, you have your curriculum, you instruct it, and you assess it. But we've spoken about this at board meetings before. The assessment came out as the curriculum was being released by the state. So it's on a very fast, incongruous track.
No, I would agree. It seems,
I would agree that it seems a little contradictory. So it would appear to me that if these are simply going to be baseline scores, which I agree with that they should be, then as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be used in any other way. But that isn't the way it's going for the teachers. And again, as Florence said, and I guess as we wrote it in the letter as well, we're not in opposition to raising standards, but we certainly don't believe in the philosophy of fire, ready, aim. And so that would be the example that I would give. This was just done not thoughtfully and with a great deal of reflection.
I could see them rolling it out over a multi-year process, starting with teaching the skills in kindergarten and first grade, but not just handing an 8th grader a test on the skills that they've never learned. Seemed kind of interesting. Okay. Yet another unfunded mandate.
And just the last item is very brief. In order to help prepare our teachers and to continue with staff development on August 29th, we have a full day of professional development. We work with content specialists, one in ELA, one in math, one in social studies and in science. And what they'll do is meet with teachers district-wide to give them the big picture, the update on the changes in Common Core and in the curriculum. And then we're running what we call breakout sessions, small group sessions, where the teachers will focus on several strategies that we've extracted from the new Common Core. And one of them is called close reading. All teachers, kindergarten through 12th grade, even for our youngest learners, they'll be focused on how to make students read closely with analytical and skills and being able to synthesize information. We'll focus on a vocabulary strategy and then on migrating the new curriculum into our teaching. So we have a great day planned and looking forward to it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Florence. We're up to superintendent report.
So thank you. So summer here is always busy and exciting. We never really take advantage of being away from the school year because there's always so much to do over the summer to prepare for the new school year. At any rate, we ran several summer camps. As usual, some of them were in the spirit of the children having a good time, and those are sponsored by the town, and others were in the spirit of summer work for our ELL students, our students in the Life Skills program, and also for some students who need additional assistance with reading. We have had our 2 summer retreats for the administrators, one at the end of the school year where we kind of sum up what we did, how we felt about what we did, and what we might be looking forward to doing as the new school year unfolds. That's the way we end in June, and today we picked up on that, and again, we have a completed superintendent's action plan based on the board goals, which was shared with the board, I guess, over the weekend. Rebecca was kind enough to place it on board docs. So I would ask the board to give that one final look. I do believe, as per our conversation at the reorganization meeting, everything that the board asked for was included. But if there's anything that appears to be an oversight or is not clear, please let us know. We looked it over today at our retreat, and we were pleased with it. We thought it looked good. We will certainly have a busy year. There's a lot to do, but we're up to the challenge, and we're excited about the challenge. I think always at the beginning of the year, today the board started their, I'm informing you as if you weren't there, the board started their opportunity to visit our schools and make sure that they're in good order for the opening. We went to all of our elementary schools today, tomorrow the secondary schools. And again, there's a certain amount of excitement that goes with the beginning of the new year, even when the kids aren't there yet, and just walking into the classrooms and noting particularly how many teachers have already gone in and decorated their classrooms and have them prepared to welcome the students is always heartening. So we're certainly getting excited. The summer seems to have gone very fast. I'm sure everybody feels that, but once the students are back, you know, you kind of forget that the summer's going fast, and you look forward to all of the happy events that really create the full educational experience that they receive here in Yorktown schools. The only other thing I guess I want to comment about is the calendar. So just thought about it. The community knows, I believe, that we've migrated from eChalk to a Google platform, and we're really excited about this decision because it's really all about communication, and the more opportunities that we have to collaboratively communicate with our students and our parents, the happier we are, and this will afford us those opportunities. So right now at this juncture, Carly Wheeler is migrating all of the information from the eChalk platform to the Google platform. And so if you've gone onto your calendar, it may appear that there were some blanks. That will not continue to be. That will be fully migrated by the beginning of the school year. The other thing that I want to just inform the community about is that there will be print calendars available. The students will receive them on the first day of school in the primary schools, and in the intermediate schools, they'll be backpacked. In the middle school and the high school, the parents will be notified by the principals. It may already be on the individual school websites. I don't want to swear to that, I'm not sure. But there will be calendars available in the main offices of the middle school and high school for students to pick up or for parents to pick up. The only reason we don't distribute it at that age is because very frequently kids will store them in their lockers and forget to bring them home. So once the parents know that that's how they can get them, they will receive them by backpack in the elementary and intermediate, but middle school, high school, those main offices, and also in the district office. So anybody who would like to pick up a print calendar, we're more than happy to provide that, and they will be ready on the opening of school.
Okay. All the information about the opening of school, what's necessary, is already on the websites for parents, because normally the calendars are in their hands by now.
Yeah, a lot of the information is already up there. I think there are some packets still being mailed out and will arrive in the homes tomorrow.
Okay.
But I think the principals have gotten everything up that they feel is important for the parents to have. I know that we received calls, at least I know that I received a call, so I'm assuming everybody else did also, from each principal, kind of giving the parents information about where they can look for information that's coming. But I know some letters have gone out. They really should have gone out on Friday. They didn't. They went out today. So hopefully there will be a lot of happy children tomorrow when they receive their information about who their teacher is. I'm sure that was an exciting event today, and I'm certain that everybody went out to their mailboxes. And that might have been a little disappointing, but unfortunately there was a glitch on our end.
Okay.
So they were intended to go out on Friday, but they were now mailed them, and they will be, they're in the post office, so hopefully by tomorrow.
I know it's on the parent portal is such a nice thing when you have middle school and high school students. Is the intent for these types of things for the elementary schools, the intermediate school, to be on the parent portal in the next couple of years?
That'll be the next thing, absolutely. We find it very helpful and useful.
Yes.
And expeditious. because you're not waiting to prepare everything and get them in envelopes and get them stamped and get them to the post office.
And they're all up at the same moment.
And they're all up together, yeah. And, of course, the high school and middle school principal have spoken volumes about how helpful it is and how it expedites the work and saves money simultaneously. So that would be the goal for sure.
Terrific. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it for me.
Terrific. We're up to public comment. Is there anybody in the public wishing to speak on agenda-related items? We have 2 public comments. No? Okay. So we're going to go up to board reports. We could start with audit committee, Mike? Oh, no, I'm sorry, Tom.
Well, the audit committee was dormant over the summer, so no new status to report, but in the coming weeks we'll be completing the RFP for the internal auditor, making that selection, and bringing that forward to the board for approval.
Terrific. Fiscal advisory, Mike?
Nothing at this time. We don't meet again until right before budget season.
Okay. Karen, policy?
Nothing at this time.
Oh, okay. I'm the only one with stuff because it's steering, and we are just finishing up year 1 of middle school, which is actually a 2-year project. Middle school looks phenomenal. It's got all new lockers. The ceilings and lights were done. There is the tech center. The shop was split up into 3 pieces, so it's still the wood shop, whatever we call that, the tech shop. It is a computer lab and a fitness center. There's a tremendous amount of work that's gone on electrically in the building. It really is shaping up. Again, it's year 1 of 2. It's a big project in there. So we're very happy with that. And we're still working on moving forward. I guess we're going to hope that the steering committee will come back to the board probably in about October, Tom, to present, I guess, an update and then where we go from here, because we're starting to wind down. So we also have to come back with a capital plan update because we have not done that.
Yep.
So that's where we stand with that. We're up to board action items then. Board minutes. Can I have a resolve the Board of Education upon recommendation of the superintendent accepts the minutes for the July 8th, 2013 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Treasurer's report. A motion to approve the treasurer's report for July 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A claims audit report. Resolved, the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, accepts the claims audit reports as of August 26, 2013.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Extra classroom activity fund. Resolved, the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, accepts the extra classroom activity fund reports for May and June of 2013.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Special ed, we have a motion to arrange the following special ed placements as of 8/26/13.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Contracts for out-of-district placements. Resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the out-of-district placements as mandated by students' IEPs the 13-14 school year with the Anderson Center for Autism.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Contract approvals for special ed. A motion to approve the following contracts for the 13-14 school year pending grant approval.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Declaration of surplus. A motion to declare the following items as surplus. There's some items that have no use to the special education department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Personnel. Hang on, I've got to... I get it. I apologize. It's okay. Resolution. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, the following resolution be approved. Whereas the negotiating team for the Yorktown Central School District and the Yorktown CSEA Custodial Unit executed a memorandum of agreement dated August 23, 2013 for a 3-year successor collectively negotiated agreement to the one that expired on June 30, 2012. And whereas the board is required by law to approve the expenditures of additional monies required to fund the provisions of the collectively negotiated agreement, now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby ratifies the memorandum of agreement between the district and the association covering the period from July 1st, 2012 through June 30th, 2015, and authorizes the funding of those monies necessary to implement the provisions of the 2012 to 15 collectively negotiated agreement. This memorandum shall be incorporated within the reference within the minutes of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I just want to thank the negotiating team for all their hard work. Do we want to,
Good job, Pete.
is there anything you want to say about it, or are we good?
No, the team really consists of Deb Legato, Tom Cole, and David Shore, and they did a great job, and we're very pleased.
Great. Thank you, thank you. Resolutions, we are up to appointments. On recommendation of the superintendent, the following be approved. We have teachers being approved. We have part-time AIS teachers, fall coaches. There's a few that are missing. Please note them on the bottom. A speech and language coordinator, a middle state service coordinator, 2013-14 tutors, per diem substitutes, some non-instructional appointments for clerical, substitute cleaners, and substitute clericals.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Retirements and resignations. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion that the following resignations or retirements be approved. Janet Dobson, a teaching assistant at Crampon School. She's been with the district since 2005. And a retirement of Patricia Falborn, a teaching assistant at Yorktown High School. She's been with the district since 1999.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, curriculum and instruction, APPR. Resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the president and the superintendent of schools to execute the implementation certification form for its annual professional performance review for classroom teachers and building principals covered pursuant to Education Law 3012C, Part 30-2 of the Rules of the Board of Regents.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Teachscape contract. Resolved that the Board of Education hereby approves the confidentiality agreement between the Teachscape and the Yorktown Central School District and authorizes the board president to sign such agreement on behalf of the district.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? This is just an NDA. It's not actually a contract.
It's a non-disclosure. Teachscape.
It looks like it's just a non-disclosure agreement. Is the intent to eventually sign an agreement?
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
okay. So we're just in discussions with them.
No. We actually signed a contract with them last year, and then what we found was that we didn't believe that they were far enough along in their process to match where we were in our process. So we postponed the contract with the credit from them that we would, this may be a contract that was actually approved by the board in the past. We're just postponing its implementation now that we believe that they've made all the accommodations that they need to make. This is just a way of us tracking teacher evaluations and observations.
This is the one where we had to migrate to because
Yes.
of contractually because of
Oasis.
Oasis. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Does it sound familiar now?
Yes.
So, forgive me, but this is just a non-disclosure agreement, which we agree not to disclose each other's confidential information. I get that.
Yes.
Is it in relation to an existing contract or the one that we suspended, or?
Yes.
It is in relation to the contract that we pay for through POSIS.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So there's already a contract signed. This is just an additional part of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we are just, so we're approving just a non-disclosure?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Business office. Approval for lunch prices for 2013-14. Be resolved, the Board of Education establishes the reimbursable meals price for the 13-14 school year as follows. Brookside and Mohansick, $2.50, Crampon, $2.60, middle school, $2.70, high school, $2.80.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. Cole.
This is not of our doing. This is a federal mandate. The federal government has a formula that they apply to school districts based on the relationship of the sell price, or rather the reimbursement to the food service provider to the price of the lunch. And I'm not going to get into the mechanics of the formula because it'll make your make your head spin and probably give you a very big headache. The bottom line is that we're being forced to raise our school lunch prices as modestly as they are, but we're being forced to raise them to comply with a federal mandate in order to receive the federal aid of the school lunch program.
And Tom, what happens to that money that we're collecting, the additional money, be it 5 cents a lunch or whatever it turns out to be?
It can only by law go back into the school lunch program.
And so when it goes back into the school lunch program, what are the things that we can spend that money on?
Well, we can spend it on equipment, we can spend it on repairs, anything that facilitates the school lunch program in each of our schools.
So just to be clear, because I know we had a meeting with the district PTA to make them aware of what was going on. It's another unfunded mandate that is requiring us to increase the prices on our school lunches. We don't have the need to personally do that.
No.
We don't have
We
really...
cut our prices 2 years ago.
We don't have equipment and that type of a thing that we seriously need to replace, that we would need to increase the expense to our lunch fund to offset. But that's where the money is going, and we have no control over that. Thank you.
Just, Tom, over the years, we have used that money that does wind up in our lunch fund. Can you explain some of the upgrades we have done
Sure.
so people are aware that we've spent it on the lunch program?
I think one of the most visible things that parents might have seen over the last several years is the new furniture in the cafeterias that has the ability to be transformed into like bench seating for some of the performances they have in there. That was a big purchase that we made in every one of the school districts. We've upgraded ovens and refrigerators and freezers as necessary to replace